Hello everyone, this is Bradley. Long time no see. I was working on final exam for almost 1.5 months. I hope things are going to be back on track these days until the next exhausting working cycle starting about July 20th. I understand that there are billions of requests for me to make tutorials in the past 1 month, so I will try to answer questions and finish this stuff as much and as soon as possible. Today, this is the first step which talks about the release of the free preset library made by me. You are probably aware of this release in the tutorial of Radio 4 nodes. However, this is an updated release, so if you have downloaded that in the past, please download that again. It's free anyway. This new version includes some new nodes, and I sincerely hope you to read the description on the page because it contains lots of critical information that I don't want to repeat in this tutorial. For example, there is no documentation about these presets, but you may potentially find some tutorials and or demonstration of these nodes on this channel by searching the name of specific nodes. Also, I will post more tutorials in the future talking about the building of these nodes so that you can understand and potentially customize them. What can you do with this preset library? It's possible for you to use them to follow my live noding. I don't do live noding for my work because of confidentiality, but I do some live noding to answer questions or doing casual stuff or for whatever, stupid, dumb, whatever. Moreover, due to some huge complexity of certain tutorials, I may start to use them in some of my tutorials. Or else, since I work with these presets intensively, you may do that as well if you know how to use them. Here is some extra things I would like to remind you. Firstly, for some reasons, I have to change my Gumroad account. So you may want to follow the new account if you wish to download some new products in the future. Secondly, I have been told by an Indian guy saying that his country cannot download stuff from Gumroad. If it happens, please talk to me individually. Since this preset library is free, there is no reason for me to stop sharing it to you directly. The last is that although this preset library is free, but if you were to donate money or make any contribution to support me, it will be very much appreciated. Thank you very much. So let's move on talking about some notices of using that. So I think it's very straightforward. You download the two files. One is for appending, the other is for startup. Honestly speaking, I would recommend you to actually download to actually use the startup file because it's probably the easiest. And the animation node is not actually good at appending its node tree, and I will tell you why. So, and this is basically the factory setting. You have the default cube camera and light, and it goes to edits, and you need to enable the animation node, fortunately. And then I'm going to append the files, and in the new I have the appending. So if I go to appending and it goes to node tree, and you will find there's a preset, preset 2, and a tracer. Tracer is whatever stuff, you don't necessarily worry about that. But the preset and the preset 2 is very important. So I'm going to append this node tree, and let's see what will actually happen. So in this layout, we don't have anything. Okay, so I'm having the viewport, and I'm going to change the other one into the animation nodes. Okay, very cool. So now I have this preset. Actually, this is already good enough. But the one thing I have to remind you is because animation node is actually linked to the scene. So if you hit N, so in this preset you hit N, and you goes to the node tree, and you can see in this animation node tree, it's linked to the scene 001. And I deleted everything in scene 001, so you don't have to worry anything, you just delete that. And it will automatically go back to the original scene so that this presets library will work on the original scene. And it actually does not really matter. Just do whatever you want. In this particular case, I would say just create a new tree and start to work on that. But I do recommend you to actually turn off this always and turn on the else, because the always will actually burn your computer very soon. One thing I have to remind you, because this is my preset library, so if I call up a node which is called a spiral, okay, this is a preset that has been mentioned in other tutorials, and maybe I updated the node tree, and you don't want to use this old preset library. So what you can potentially do is to remove these trees. So if I remove this preset library, remove animation node tree, and it goes to the presets, remove the animation node trees. So now this node tree has a spiral, but because its main trunk has been disappeared, so it no longer exists. So in this case, what can you actually do? You just append the new updated file again. So we have the preset and preset 2. And it will link to the original file, because these are, I think, so essentially, if you take a look with all these group nodes, its name is actually not called the mirror value. Its name is actually called group inputs 52. So for whatever reason, it's just linked. The subprogram can be linked back to the original file, and so on and so forth. Basically, this is one part. And another thing that I would like to mention is that for example, there is a node which is called a constant for pi, and you do realize it's actually it's misspelled because it should be constant, but it has a missing t. It's actually intentional, okay? But maybe you don't like it. So you don't like my preference. Okay, it's fine. You would like to customize all these nodes by yourself. Maybe you don't like this loop option. Maybe you don't like this float list option, or maybe you would like to add more function into this. It's okay. And you do realize I have 2 preset library. So which one is this constant for pi lives in? So here is a kind of a trick. So if you select this node and hit tab, and it will lead you to the preset. And this is because the constant for pi, the mother tree of a constant for pi, is actually in this preset tree. And to search that, you just hit Control F, and you can search and constant for pi. And you find a constant for pi. You find this node. And you may would like to directly add it on the top of my preset library. I would not recommend you to do that, because in case I were to update all these preset library in the future, and if you append it twice, then it will probably overwrite your changes. So in such kind of cases, what I actually recommend you to do is to select all these nodes and right click, use this copy. It says Control C is the shortcuts. I never buy that. Just forget about that. Just use right click, which is the safest method, and copy that. Okay. And now let's create a new node tree, and let's name that my preset. And we are going to paste this preset library. And if we view all, you can see this preset library. It names the constant for pi 2. And then you can do whatever customization. Maybe you don't like this factor of pi. Maybe you don't like that loop. You can just customize for whatever things, and the naming, whatever stuff. Basically, this is kind of concept, so that in case in the future I update my preset library, it will not actually overwrite your customization or your build of preset. This is basically the idea, and probably the best solution that I can come up with at this moment. So I hope I don't actually know how this preset library will be useful to you, because there's no documentation and tutorial, enough tutorial talking about all these nodes. It's actually a very huge library, and it's actually growing as well. So I don't even know how many nodes I have in there. Preset 2 is even a huge chunk. Actually, this update majorly includes these 2 huge chunks that I don't expect you to build for yourself. I'm actually even too tired to make 2 tutorials for this one. That's actually horrible things. But anyway, basically this kind of idea. Maybe you can investigate them by yourself. Maybe you're so genius that you understand them. But anyway. So, anyway, what else I can say? No, nothing I can say. So I hope you enjoy this demonstration, preset library, or whatever stuff, and I hope you see you next time. Bye bye.